Okay, folks, this is a part two, if you will, to the All the Queen's Men video I posted, well, today, assuming this video goes up on December 9th. But basically, it's in regards to Christian Keys confirming that as far as All the Queen's Men as a series goes, BET Plus, once season 5 is over, that's pretty much it. So in terms of an All the Queen's Men season 6, any other prequel series or shows that would expand the universe, none of that will take place with Viacom, BET Plus, Tyler Perry Studios. He stated that there are other interested parties and platforms, so it seems like the series will land on its feet. But the question is where? Now, I've had some interesting conversations with some different fans of the show since last night. I had a couple this afternoon that if I had had those conversations earlier, I would have made, those thoughts clear in the video. But it's a question of, can the show thrive on a different platform, different network? Now, let me say this, simple and plain. If you're newer to my channel, heck, maybe this video is your first glimpse at our kind of entertainment, then just know that despite the number of subscribers, the views, the amount of videos, all that stuff, don't think that I have ties to Tyler Perry Studios myself. I'm just a regular person. I'm a fan of a good chunk of Tyler Perry content, and I review it on the channel. I've interacted with various people, some of which we see on camera, the actors, others who work behind the scenes. I've never talked with Tyler Perry himself. I have never met the man. I have never been to Tyler Perry Studios or, what have you. So don't think I'm sitting up here acting like I know everything. No, I'm letting you know right now, this entire video is speculation. I have been informed of certain things from different people, some who have had amazing experiences at Tyler Perry Studios and those who have not. But this video is just talking about the possibilities of what All the Queen's Men has in store. If the show could thrive elsewhere or if it's doomed to fail. So just keep that in mind as I do this video. Now, based off Christian Keys and what he himself has stated in various videos or reels and whatnot or captions. Oh yeah, side note. The whole thing from a couple years ago, around December of 2023, I think it was 2023, 2022, where he did that whole video about, yeah, I've had secret recordings on pens and other devices about, a certain person in the industry, a billionaire who tried to, basically the Derek Dixon situation, but Christian Keys pretty much said the situation that he went through first. In no way, shape, or form will I be implementing those allegations in this video because A, he never confirmed it was Tyler Perry, and B, that's not the subject of this video, okay? Just want to let you know before you leave it in the comments yeah, well, I bet Tyler was the one that Christian Keys... Nah, we're not talking about that. So Christian Keys has made it clear that things between himself and Tyler Perry Studios and Viacom haven't been peachy keen. It's basically been a situation where he went from being the creator of this franchise via a book or books. Then he wrote the script for the show. Then I think he shopped it around, and then, I think Tyler may have been the first person he showed it to or the first person to show interest in it. And he said, sure, I'd love to, have it produced at Tyler Perry Studios. So initially, if I remember correctly, it was All the Queen's Men. And then I think it was a Good Morning America or something where I think Eva Marcel was the one who was doing the interview. And she stated how one time we were filming a scene where Madam was blowing something up and Tyler was just riding by on his bicycle. He heard the commotion, rode over there to see what was going on, and after seeing it for himself, he's like, yeah, I got to get in on this. So from there, I remember that's when Tyler Perry's name was added to the show. So, as time went on, it became less of a Christian Keys project and more of a Tyler Perry thing. And for better or worse, that's why some fans, were turned off from the show. Some fans, just felt like, well, I love these characters so much, I'll keep watching. And the question that I raised to someone I talked to last night was, or this morning, basically within the past 24 hours, I was like, truth be told, do you think All the Queen's Men would have lasted as long as it has if it wasn't a Tyler Perry studio thing? And that's not to say the show was good or bad. You know me, just a quick rundown in case you didn't know. I watched season 1. I did reviews on season 1. But here's the thing. I think it was Ruthless TV. I'm pretty confident Ruthless TV was the YouTube channel. They posted, I think, a few videos about season 1 before I did. Because I'm like, dang. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I was like, yo, this is my first time trying to review a show. But they dropped all the episodes at once. And I was overwhelmed. I'm like, how do I handle this? Now, of course, I know it's like, I could do it one of two ways. I could do one video just talking about the entire season at once. Or drop an episode review every now and then. I don't have to burn myself out like trying to do 10 episode reviews in one time. That's stupid. Don't do that. But at the time, I'm like, okay, I still don't know what to do. Ruthless TV dropped a couple of videos, and then apparently, like, Christian Keys' team took it down, and then he posted about it, something along the lines of, he doesn't want people posting videos about the show, giving it away and stuff like that because it ruins it. And I'm like, I'd be dang if I spend time watching an entire season of a show, put my effort into doing these videos, to then post them and then they get blocked. Oh, heck no. So after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with it. Now, given that 4 seasons have passed, I'm pretty sure at this point I could just post whatever and not worry about somebody taking it down. But I just decided not to do it. So I know for season 1, I thought it was pretty good. But then I heard about how Tyler wrote either the back half of season 1 or all of season 2 and a bunch of Tyler Perry isms, if you will, from repetitive dialogue, characters acting out of character, this, that, and the third. It pretty much messed up the flow. Now, going back to my earlier point about would the show survive, it's difficult because when I was talking with another fan earlier, I kind of compared Tyler Perry Studios to Motown. And you're like, Jeremy, what do you mean by Motown? When you look at a bunch of documentaries like Unsung, or, I've read a couple of books like Otis Williams' book about the Temptations, which was the foundation of the 90s biopic, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Yes, I know that line was improvised, but it's a good book. I'd suggest, I think it's just called The Temptations. You can Google it. If you're a fan of the biopic, I'd recommend reading the book because it has more in there. So just a side note. I think about a lot of these artists who talk about how Motown contracts weren't exactly the best, a bunch of things like residuals and, creative control and writing, all that stuff. Basically, it wasn't the best contract, but more often than not, especially during the time when, Motown was just really establishing itself, it was like the only place in town you can go if you were an artist. And on top of that, there weren't many other record labels that were, extremely devoted to black artists. So as some artists, either got to the point where they butted heads with Berry Gordy, they didn't like the direction of Motown, or it's like, hey, I want more creative freedom, or, this group can't, like the Jackson 5 came in and like I Used to Be the Stars, like I used to get a lot of advertisement and this, that, and the third, but now Barry's put their focus on his focus on the Jackson 5 or the Barge or whoever else. So they opt to, end things with Motown and go to a different label. All right, kind of like, the Christian Keys, Viacom, Tyler Perry Studio thing going on right now. So they decide to go to a different label. Come to find out, oh, your record label has a black and a white division. Oh, I got a single and an album coming out, but it's not getting the same level of radio airplay or ads that it would have gotten at Motown. So essentially, Motown had like an assembly line method of doing things. But stepping outside of that bubble where you believe, okay, I'm going to get more opportunities. I'm going to be able to write more. I'm going to make more. I want to make more money per album sold, and I want to have, control of my masters and all these things, which you think the grass is green on the other side, but come to find out, while you were where you were like top of the charts with Motown, you go over to another label and they don't care about anything like that. They just treat you however, and it turns out the deal you had with them isn't as good as you thought. And then maybe one or two albums or one or two flops, and then you're a has-been. The question is, will all the Queen's Men follow the same structure by stepping outside of Viacom or Tyler Perry Studios and going to a different platform? Now, based off the comments, so many people have said, and I'm not saying people have not said they'll follow all the Queen's Men wherever they go, like whatever platform or whatever. I've seen more people say, I don't know if all the Queen's Men ends up going to a streaming platform I don't already have. I'm probably going to stop watching it legitimately because I just can't afford it. And side note, shout out to Family Business, because in my other video I said, yeah, aside from all the Queen's Men, Zatima is like the only other hit show that people care about. Now I know people, care about Ruthless and Zatima. Well, yeah, I said Zatima and all the Queen's Men. I said, Ruthless. There are those fans, but and then somebody comes like, don't forget all the Queen's Men. I'm like, okay. I mean, the Family Business. Yeah. New Orleans. That's a hit too. But I don't know if you were given the choice between signing up for a platform you do not already have for all the Queen's Men, or sticking with your BET Plus because it has Family Business, it has Zatima, it has Divorced Sisters, and maybe a few other things you like. But then again, I know some people are strategic. It's like, you know what? I'll sign up for a free trial, or I'll delete BET Plus because nothing I usually watch is on. It's been like 2 or 3 months, so I'll delete this and then I'll come back, once the show. I know some people just do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, times are tough. And when I think about, earlier this year, how a lot of companies got rid of the DEI. I think CBS was the biggest offender of this, where a huge number of black shows or shows that had some form of diversity got canceled or just not renewed, along with the current situation involving WB with Netflix versus Paramount Plus. I'm just curious where all the Queen's Men will land next. Where will it land next? And as a result, we know I will say this. Regardless as to what platform all the Queen's Men gets to next, I think it is safe to assume the show will have way more eyes on it than BET Plus. Because a show on Netflix, I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I would not be surprised if Beauty and Black has more views on Netflix than Zatima does on BET Plus, despite Zatima being like the #1 show on that platform. Like I said, I don't know the exact stats, but it would not surprise me. And I mean, if the show went to like Prime Video or Netflix, I think the show would do well. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, I wonder how raunchy it would be. Would it be less raunchy now that Tyler will no longer be involved in it? Will the stories make more sense? In terms of the prequels, I've seen people not really care that much. It's like, unless it's like a Madam prequel, I don't really care. Because if I remember in his previous video where he talked about how the cast might change around due to egos and drug use and stuff like that. And yes, I have received DMs throughout the day, and I've read the comments on the video I uploaded. Some people have stated names, but I'm like, I'm not going to touch that. Unless you, hey, because apparently Christian Keys did confirm a couple people, but like I said, I am not touching that at all. I know Christian Keys said, well, he has, I think he said he had a couple more books coming out. prequel series, maybe even like a Broadway or just like a stage show or something like that. So the man is trying to expand the universe, and I can't do anything but applaud him for it. And it does seem like he has a solid enough fan base to keep it going. It's just that I wonder, without the Tyler Perry Studios assembly line backing him, will the show last for like another 5 seasons? I don't know. But I will say, though, at least the show, it has already established itself and has a diehard fan base. So that's one major advantage. And it's just a question of if you, and like I said, I don't know the whole situation. I'm just going off of what Christian Keys has been saying online. What would you do in that situation? And like, I know it's different for everyone, not to mention you might have a different answer depending on if you were in his situation or not. Would you rather bring a project to a studio, you know, asking if they'd produce it, basically bring your script, bring your book to life, and you would have creative control. But somewhere down the line, you were kind of shoved out of the room. Yeah, sure, you got your paycheck and whatever, and it will look nice because your show kept going on for seasons and gained more popularity and whatnot. And you know, hey, your bank account's looking pretty good. But on the creative side, you're feeling pretty bankrupt, and you're furious. Would you opt to, quote unquote, cash out and go to a different studio where you had more control, more say, but you might not make as much money? So basically, you would be creatively satisfied, but you take a hit to your pay. What would you do? What would you do? What would you do? What makes you happy versus what makes you wealthier? It's kind of like, you know, with some of these MCU actors who talk about how, man, you know, I've been part of the MCU for X amount of years and the money is great. You know, I'm an action figure. I go to different conventions, but I don't feel like I'm able to flex my acting muscles the way I want to. So sometimes you'll see an actor from a big budget Marvel film doing like a small indie project. And it's like, wait, what are they doing this for? But it's just like because they want to feel creatively satisfied as opposed to being stunted in their growth, because it's like, yeah, it's like the character I play is so one note versus what I'm actually capable of. I don't know. It's kind of like the situation of, what would I do? Would I rather stay how I am now, a free agent, doing my YouTube commentary, speaking freely on projects and making my ad revenue, or if Tyler Perry Studios or Viacom is like, hey, you know what? We'll give you a little something, something. We'll basically pay you more than you make on YouTube, but everything you say about the shows and movies have to be positive. How would I feel? I ain't gonna hold you. I got a mortgage and credit card debt. I would like, okay, yeah, what you need me to do? Would I feel like a sellout? Somewhat. But at the same time, it's about whether or not you want to be morally responsible or financially responsible. However, there are certain things I wouldn't talk about. You know, certain shows I don't watch because it's like, hey, I felt validated when my pastor said this to me. He's like, hey, well, you know what, Jeremy? All money isn't good money, and it's good that you don't watch or do commentary on certain things that you don't feel comfortable doing because you feel like it compromises, you know, your own values. I'm like, oh, yeah. But then you hear these stories of all these people who sell their souls to make it as an actor or, you know, become a pop star or whatever. And it's just like, man, what's that quote? It's like, I don't want to gain the whole world if it means losing my soul, that kind of thing. I don't know. But either way, when it comes to All the Queen's Men, I am curious, like, what the future is. I don't think I'm going to watch it, but I'm just curious because, like I said, it does have a huge fan base already. And it's kind of like when I bring up the haves and the have-nots. Man, if Tyler brought that show back on a bigger platform than OWN, I know it would be a hit. And I mean a bigger hit than it already was. So I feel like the same thing applies to All the Queen's Men. Put it on a different platform that's bigger than BET Plus and watch it soar. I mean, you got Eva Marcel at the forefront, assuming this continues onward with season 6 and beyond, if she's not one of the actors being recast or something. I mean, you had Shaq give the show a shout out one time on television, and it's just like that's the kind of publicity you can't pay for. Word of mouth goes a long way. It goes a long way. Oh yeah. Also, remember when Christian Keys didn't like how people were posting clips of the show on TikTok and whatnot and making money off it, which I can understand that for copyright reasons, but at the same time, it's like, let me know in the comments. Sometimes when you see a clip of a show or a movie, that might entice you more than a trailer. I ain't gonna hold you. It's kind of like, with Bel Air. It just had its final season uploaded to Peacock. And you had Will Smith make a cameo at the end of the show. And people were like, man, I tuned out of Bel Air for a while now. Or I stopped watching after the Chris Rock slap. But after seeing this scene and a few others, I kind of need to go back to Peacock and catch up. I mean, it's like that saying, sometimes you have to take a hit to deliver an even bigger one. And what if a couple of people make some change online by posting some clips when it brings far more attention to your show? And I don't know. I get it. Like, those laws are in place for a reason. Hence why I don't post full episodes of a show because of copyright, But it's just like, I'm very curious to see what the future of All the Queen's Men has in store for itself as a franchise. Will the expansion of the universe be a success? I mean, I hope it is for, Christian Key's sake, as well as everybody involved. Hey, I'm for, black, content thriving and actors having jobs, especially in this current state, not just of the economy, but the entertainment industry as a whole. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think the show will thrive on a different platform? It goes back to my initial question of the video. Did the show thrive and, survive for as long as it did because it's a Tyler Perry show? Because when it comes to Tyler Perry stuff, regardless of how good or bad it is, you're almost guaranteed like 5 seasons. I mean, seriously, do you think Assisted Living would last as long as it has on, CBS? It would have been canceled quicker than Papa's House. But hey, when you got the Tyler Perry name attached to it, it goes places. All right, well, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.